Welcome back to the show. This is a segment we are calling On the Bubble. We got sound effects and everything, so buckle your seatbelt. Oh, you guys have actual bubbles.
Yeah, I think so if they work. I don't know if mine are going to work.
Wow, we really broke the bank on this segment here.
I'm a loser. Nothing new there. Nothing you didn't know out there already.
Listen, we're all in this together. We're all losers.
Yeah, I have to work on this. Go ahead, Jackie.
All right, let's get to it. We're gonna talk about teams in the NHL we're just over the halfway point now that are on the bubble and probably will be until the final couple of weeks of this season. So we're gonna talk about one team from each division, and you guys are gonna tell me whether you think this team is gonna make it. So let's start in the East. A lot of people think this is the toughest division of the four in terms of the top, I guess. There's 5 teams that really have a shot at making it. So let's hone in on the Philadelphia Flyers. We had Taryn on earlier in the show. She talked about how this team has struggled so much to find consistency and have really struggled on the back end as well. Defensive lapses that have not made Carter Hart's job very easy between the pipes. So when you look at the Flyers who are on the bubble, EJ, what do you say?
Well, if we feel good about them, we're going to give you bubbles, and if we don't,
no bubbles.
We're not. No bubbles for you. We are the bubble Nazis here, I guess. But we are. I would have to say, for me, I'm going to say no bubbles. So I think the bubble's going to burst for the Philadelphia Flyers because they have some games in hand. So that's the good news. But the bad news is they are in a division where the 4 teams ahead of them. The one team that's been vulnerable recently is the Boston Bruins. And who is the team that owns the Philadelphia Flyers? The Boston Bruins.
Yeah.
So the Pittsburgh Penguins have been able to find points in different games, and they've been able to steal points throughout the season. Then they got going. Now they've had some injuries. But I don't like what I see here when you think about those goals allowed. So for me, no bubbles.
No bubbles
for the Flyers.
All right, well, you know, this is a tough one because I think this team's a pretty good team.
They are.
They're really struggling, though, and I can't really put a finger. I don't think many people could put a finger on why this is happening right now. But they're not getting wins, and that's what they need right now. And those games played, that's fine. But it's
But you like
I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything that's going to make me think they're going to win those games. I'm going to say no.
No bubble.
I'm going to pop their bubble right now. I don't think this team makes it because the teams in front of them would have to falter, and I don't really see that happening.
Want. No bubbles just yet. Let's see if
we're just saying no bubbles because we don't know how to blow the bubbles.
We don't know how to do it. I've already established I'm clueless, so you know. But you already knew that, Jackie.
Oh, it's too good. Well, here's a look at the Central Division. And the Columbus Blue Jackets looked clueless at the start of the season, but they've now beat Carolina a couple games in a row. They are duking it out with the Blackhawks here for that 4th playoff spot in the Central. Got a ways to go to catch Carolina, although a sweep of the 3-game set, actually it might be a 4-game set, would go a long way. So when you look at the Columbus Blue Jackets, who have made big deals, have had drama surrounding their coach all season long, and then on the ice haven't, for the most part, looked like the Blue Jackets that we've come to know and love, although they've played good recently. Are they getting bubbles, E.J. Hradek, or an attempt at bubbles?
I think we got to give them an attempt. We got to give them an attempt at bubbles here. And once again, nothing. Nothing again. I mean, this segment is just not.
There it is.
There we
They're
go.
a bubble team.
That's a good one right there.
It is.
Yeah, I'm going to see. The reason I'll say it is because I don't know who's going to be the 4th team in that division. I know who the first 3 are going to be. Tampa, Florida, Carolina. I'm not exactly sure of the order. Oh, you're showing off, shooting your bubbles around, Rupp. All right. But I think it's anybody's game, really, for that 4th spot. So because of that, look at you.
Yeah.
I will say bubbles for the Blue Jackets. And you're
agreeing.
going
with it. Yeah, I don't even need time. I just want to see if I can do it off cam before we got going. I'm going to go bubbles. I'm going bubbles on this one. I just think that this team, I'm not a buyer in the Blackhawks. I just think that this Blue Jackets team's found a little bit of a stride here. Torts is going to squeeze them. I I like calling them the Bold and the Blue Jacket this year. It's
Really?
a soap opera there.
It has been.
It's a soap opera, what we're seeing, but they're giving us stuff to talk about. I think they'll continue to. I like this team. I think that once they start getting their defensive structure down a little bit more to what they are supposed to be, and I don't think we've seen it consistently enough this year, they'll be tough to beat, and we're seeing them win the games that matter right now. They took two games in a row against Carolina. I mean, they're a team that I believe in. I think they are a bubble team, and I think they make it.
Plenty of bubbles.
Ooh, very exciting. Maybe we'll get Tampa Columbus in the playoffs again. That'd be something. A third chapter to that story. But let's go to the North Division, the Scotia North, the all-Canadian division. You see the Calgary Flames there, way down near the bottom. Only the Sens are lower than Calgary. But the Flames have made their coaching change. They have looked better under Sutter, I think it's safe to say. But they are one of just two teams that has a losing record in that division against Ottawa. Yeah. And the Flames are one of them.
That's
so true. Take that into consideration when you decide to wave that bubble wand.
Yes, I will. And we're going to try again. Let's see how we do this time. No, once again, too fast. I like that you had the underneath kind of thing going there.
There it is, E.J.
Yeah, I'm going to go bubbles for the Flames because... And again, it's the same thing for me. In that division, I don't know who the fourth team is going to be. It could be Montreal. Heck, it could be Vancouver the way they're playing right now, and it could be Daryl Sutter and company. And if, Daryl just might get mad, that'll be bad news for everybody in that locker room. So they might just play better because they're scared. I don't know. But I think, they still have Markstrom there, so they have a heck of a goalie. I think the fact that there's uncertainty in that last spot, and even the spots, we've seen some of these teams go up and down. Yeah. So I'm going to give them some bubbles at this point.
I do like the way they've responded since the coaching change. I think they're playing with a little more tenacity, a little more to their way they're supposed to be built, right? And some of these players that Daryl Sutter's using, I just don't think when I'm looking at that division, I think you've got Toronto, you've got Edmonton, you've got Winnipeg or staples in there. Those three are in. So then it takes me to another team, and that's the Montreal Canadiens. And I think this Montreal Canadiens team, the way they spent in the offseason, the way that the season started this year, I think they're going to make moves here. They're going to try to at the deadline. So I just don't think this Calgary Flames is going to do it. Their bubble pops for me. They don't make the playoffs. That will go the fourth spot to the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
All right, one more division to get to. Out in the West, the LA Kings have played surprisingly well. I mean, you got A.J. Kopitar, 6th in the league scoring this season, doing big things for the LA Kings. Right now, they are outside of that playoff picture. The Blues occupying that 4th and final spot, although they are tied in points with the Minnesota Wild. So the Kings, 5 points back, but because of all this interdivision play, I mean, that's not as difficult to make up, or maybe it is because of all the points going around to everybody ahead of you, but where do you see the LA Kings? Do they have a legitimate chance, E.J.?
Well, I like what's happened with the LA Kings this year. They've made progress, which is great. And their older players are playing terrific hockey. Kopitar, Doughty, Brown, that's been great for them as well. Peterson has been good in goal. Quick has had moments when he's been very good as well. So I like all those things, but I think, unfortunately, they are in a division where I believe the teams that are there now are going to be the teams that are there at the end, and I'm going to keep the only one I guess I should still be worried about Minnesota, but it seems like they just can't play with Colorado right now. I still think they're a pretty good team, and I worry about the Blues with the injuries. We just talked to Panger, but I think it'll be tough for the Kings to make up that ground. So no bubbles.
No bubbles. No bubbles for them. This is a team that I love them. I love what they're doing here. I think the future is extremely bright for the LA Kings. I've been impressed with the youth. I've been impressed with the veterans this year. Well, who are they going to overtake?
That's right.
I mean, you've got Vegas, you've got the Globetrotters, you've got the St. Louis Blues, and you got the Minnesota Wild, who I know were tough this weekend, but they played against the Trotters. Yeah. So, it's going to be a tough battle for them to get in. I just don't see them getting in, so their bubble will pop.
Yeah.
All right. But it has been nice. They've been a good story. I was hoping for a shocker there, but it didn't happen. Understandably so. E.J., give that wand one more go as we say goodbye.
Rupper has the key of
Catch one now. Catch one, each. Yeah.
There we go.
Your Johnny Hockey doesn't have anything on you. Throwing it up there and catching the puck, you're catching bubbles on your stick.
There we go.
Hey, Well played.